Hello and good morning. It's the 22nd of August 2022, Tuesday, and I'm going to go through my trade plan for today and some levels. I've got the daily chart on at the moment for the MES S&P index futures, and we've had a bit of an interesting pullback. We're looking at a bit of a bear flag into the 8 decline in moving average, and if we were looking for a potential for it to go, if we're going to continue this flag, then possibly I'll be watching around this daily level, which happens to be the 50 moving average, and a left shoulder potentially. Maybe we're going to put in we've kind of put in a mini head and shoulders, but maybe we're going to come back up to this area. It could look a bit like this. Maybe it might even be similar to this on this side. So today I'm going to go with the trend. So we're going into the hourly. We can see we're in a downtrend, but we're in an hourly downtrend, but we're having a bit of a pullback in the downtrend. So the trend is long or bullish today. I'll just go through my levels. I just noticed I had this area 4400. I was watching the book map earlier. I'll show you the book map, and there was a load of sellers sitting at that level, and I was possibly looking to take a short at this level here at 44.40, and the short's already happened, so I missed that. I was having my lunch at that point, but it doesn't matter. We're in it to trade what we see on the day. So I'm still watching this potential area for a short, and so I'll probably be aiming for 4400 rejection. It will be a higher risk rejection now because we've already touched it once. If we pull back, we may come back up, possibly create a double top, but being higher risk, it's more being higher risk, and we're going to have to watch because we've got this trend line as well. So potentially we could see the next move will be a break and retest that area, but we will be then moving into the 200 moving average area, so we could have natural resistance probably where it intercepts the trend line. So 4400 is a higher risk rejection today. For a higher probability rejection, we'll be looking around 44.65.25, and this solid yellow line is a daily level as well, which I'll go back to the day, which is this neckline area we just looked at. So we've got the top of the shoulders here, top of shoulders here as well, and potentially we've got all this resistance, and we've got the 50 moving average as well. So we could come back and retest the 50 on the daily for possibly another leg down. So that's a higher probability rejection area. Other than that, looking for bounces as we are in a little micro uptrend. If we come back down and retest this area 44.16 to 44.10, then I'll be looking just to possibly take a bounce or pull to continue to move up. If we show significant weakness, then we'll have to wait for confirmation as well. This is a higher risk bounce because we're quite close to where we are now. A more higher probability risk will probably be as we're coming down to this lower trend line, this lower channel, and also this 50 moving average is turned around a little bit as well. So we could potentially watch for an area around here, which will be 44.40, nice round number as well. So potentially 44.40, let's just put that in as a reminder. 44.40 area as a potential bounce, and I would say it's a higher risk but with confirmation. And then for a higher probability bounce, I'm going to be watching for this area again. We came down, was that yesterday? Excuse me. We would have to break this trend line if we do get down to this area, and potentially we might be coming in for a push down, but this is an area I'm watching for. And if we're going to retest this trend line, then that could be the first target if we get down to here. And of course we've got 43.50, which is a major bounce area. It'll be a big hourly double bottom as well. Excuse me. So to sum up, I'll go through 2 high risk and 2 low risk. So the higher risk rejection area is what we've just touched a few minutes ago, 44.40, and that's because there's a few sellers still sitting up there on the book map as well. A higher probability will be off of the 200 or this daily level, so 44.51 to 44.65. Well, not two, in fact these would be 2 separate trades. So they're the higher probability and higher risk, and higher risk bounce is going to be off of this level here, so yesterday's high basically. So it'll be 44.16 to 44.20, and then a higher probability bounce is going to be around this area at 43.80, 43.75, and if we do see significant weakness, then obviously we're watching this double bottom 43.50. So that's pretty much it for ES. Going back to the daily, just to remind ourselves, we could potentially be pulling back over and into this 50 moving average, which is also an area of supply and resistance, so it's a big area. So potentially 44.80 is an area to watch for the next few days, or even today if we see a big push up. Okay, so SPY, similar to ES, we've got this area, it's not a demand, it's now a supply area. We've got the supply zone up here, so, and we've got the 200 moving average, and we've got this highly condensed area of volume on this red point of control line. So potentially we're watching 444 to 445 as a rejection area. 444 would be a good if you want to get a start position. I would say that's a higher probability rejection as well, because of this potential resistance we've got here. So I'll only be watching that area, and I'll be watching it on the ES as well. As for a bounce, we could use yesterday's high area, which will be 440 roughly as a potential bounce, and then that's a higher risk bounce, and we've got, again like the ES, we've got 435 to 436 as a higher probability bounce, followed by 433 as another higher probability bounce. Excuse me. Qs. Okay, so we've come into the 200 already. It happens to be a level I put in yesterday as well. 367.50 area, and we've touched it and rejected it, but potentially we haven't quite got to that level, so we could be watching out for a rejection. That's a higher probability rejection. We've got this big demand area and this highly concentrated volume area at 369, so this is another area to watch for rejection. I'd still say it's a higher risk, but with confirmation. And then let's look at the daily on this as well, because I think there was. So on the daily, we've come in, look at that, we've touched the 8 moving average, and we're potentially putting in this flag, and we've got potential to move back up to this 370 area. So a bit like ES and SPY, we could potentially push up today and complete this pullback into the 50 and maybe reject it. So going back to the hourly, we could be watching, yeah, I think 370 as a rejection, more of a high risk rejection because it looks strong. I think that's it. And bounce wise, high probability bounce, I would probably say this area 363.75, and also yesterday's high. And we've got this little mini head and shoulders pattern which set up over the last few days. Not a great one, but we could potentially use that pivot or the shoulders of this as another potential bounce. 358, that's a higher probability, and obviously this is a higher probability out of 354. NQ, NQ is interesting. It's broken the 200, and if I just zoom in a bit, Here we go. So it's broken the 200s, came back, it's retested it as well. So it's in its micro uptrend as well in the hourly. So we potentially got this area here as a rejection area. Let's just mark that off, which is 15,161 or 15,200. This area, this entire area, and that's purely because of the tops of these candles here, potentially that one, and we've got an area where it was a bit congested, so bottoms and tops are intercepted. Bottoms are candles, tops are candles, tops are candles, and we've got these bottoms as well. So potentially this is an area to watch out for. 15 to 15.20. Okay, so last but not least, oil. It's been quite interesting the last few days. So we were in a daily uptrend on oil, and then we turned around middle of August, was that 9th of the 10th, and we're putting in this hourly downtrend, and potentially now we're seeing a higher low and a higher high. So higher high, and then this could be another higher low. We could be changing trend again. The 20 moving average is the 200 moving average is curving around as well, so, or leveling out. So the levels really from the last few days are still valid. Just see if there's anything good from yesterday. We could probably, yeah, this entire area. So potential bounce if we can break the 200, or rejection will be yesterday's high, 81.80, with a stop loss probably 81, maybe 81.94 area, and that's basically based on this area here as a potential stop loss. Looking at there, and obviously this congested area, because if we can, or a meaningful stop loss will be at 82.50, because if we can break through this congested area, then it's going to keep pushing up. And for bounces, we've got this bounce area. Look at that, perfectly bounced there a few days ago. So if we come back down to 78.70, 78.69, we're looking at a potential bounce. So again, oil is one of those stocks I'm looking to play more of. I've done a few simulated trades on oil successfully as well, but I'll be looking to probably take some actual transactions on it over the next week. And look at this, we've got this nice hourly head and shoulders pattern forming. So who knows where we could be going, could be heading back down to there, and then for a leg down. But it's worth keeping an eye on oil as well, but it does look like the hourly. Let's look at the daily quickly. We come back, retested this area. Yeah, potentially we could be putting in a move back down, maybe get back down to the merging 250 moving average, but we're still closing below the 200, below the 8 moving average, and we're right on the 20 moving average. So we'll see, probably today will tell us which direction we want to go. We are consolidating in this area at the moment, and that's it really. So I'm going to go back over MES with my levels before I close the video. So potential hourly head and shoulders pattern setting up. Depends whether you want to call that a shoulder or whether this is a shoulder we're looking at now. It'll be a lopsided one. Potentially we could be looking at that as a neckline. But I think play the day as it comes. We're looking to maybe continue on from yesterday's push up as well. So let's just play what we see in the levels. One thing I'm going to do better today as well is actually play my levels rather than try and make plays up in between. Yesterday my levels worked perfectly there, up here, even this potential area is a break and retest long, and here we go, even that level there. So had I just played my levels, I should have just played that level today. That level's based on that. I wouldn't have needed to worry about playing the VWAP and all the VWAP moves. So I'm going to probably not touch VWAP moves today, because that just cost me too much of my time yesterday. and I spent the entire day chasing bad trades and trying to make up. It was slightly worse than break even, I think, by the time my commissions came out. But had I just stuck to my plan, stuck to my levels, look at these perfect levels, I wouldn't need to be spending, you know, I could have got in on that trade there yesterday morning, and I wouldn't need to have got out until I hit that target, and left a runner, and it never came below that, and my runner could have just carried on going until we closed. Well, where did we close yesterday? We closed there. Yes, I would have closed about here anyway. But instead yesterday I took a pullback and a long off of the VWAP, and I probably didn't even keep it that long. I think it was over here actually. This trade here up to here wasn't really a level, wasn't even part of my plan, and the only part of my plan I did take was this level, and that was a good trade at the end of the day, which kind of recovered all of my losses trying to short and trying to play the VWAP and levels around here. I was just trying to recover bad trading. So today I'm going to stick to levels and be patient, and I know I've missed that level, but potentially I'm watching for another double top or a push off of the 200 or that area there. But I'll be watching 44.51 as a level, 44.50, 44.40, 44.16 as a potential bounce if we come back down that area, and 4400 is a psychological number, and we should be probably getting close to the 50 moving average as well for potential bounce as well. And while we're within this channel, I'm going to be playing with the trend as well. So even if we pull back down to this area, I'll be looking for a potential bounce, possibly even around here, because we've got this higher concentrated volume area, which is a natural support area. So, wrong button, clear. So we've got a natural support here as well, so potentially stop loss could be just below here or just below here if I'm playing very small shares, as a bounce back up to remain in the channel. Okay, that's it really. Hopefully this is helpful. I'll leave my levels up for a few more seconds, and if you found this video useful, please don't forget to like it and subscribe it. And that's my door going, so perfect time.